Hey everybody, welcome, welcome to Hidden Horror. Thank you for spending this time with me. I appreciate that. Let's get started. Hey everybody, welcome to Hidden Horror. How are you doing? How is your day going? Are you ready for the new year? 2025, baby, is here. It's coming for us quick. Well, today I'm here. I'm here to just bring you some news about Jennifer Crumbley. Jennifer Crumbley, she is the mother of the Oxford High School mass shooter, Ethan Crumbley. I'll just give you a little synopsis. Back in November of 2021, Ethan Crumbley, at the age of 15 years old, he committed a mass shooting at his high school, Oxford High School. And from the mass shooting, many people were injured, but we had 4 students that were killed. Okay, 4 students. And when I say this, I'm not trying to minimize the fact that sometimes the emotional toll, the level of anxiety and stress from these mass shootings, they carry so much um, sadness and agony and pain and distraught and really PTSD for this community, for the families, and everybody really wants to see justice for the 4 victims. Okay, Hannah St. Juliana, Madison Baldwin, Justin Schilling, and Tate Muir. These are our 4 victims that were killed. We also have others that were injured. Um, and my heart goes out to this community. I'm here today because there's just seems to be like a lack of accountability. Jennifer Crumbley, and I'm gonna focus on her because the article is about her, but just Jennifer Crumbley and James Crumbley, they're Ethan's parents. And Jennifer, she had a lot of power within the house, within the marriage, within the rearing of Ethan. It seems that they were fairly close. Um, and it seems like he went to his mom when he had issues. I know he allegedly asked her for some mental health counseling, and she allegedly laughed in his face. There was some testimony during the trials of James and Jennifer Crumbley that um, she was having an affair, which is not um, significant, but it does play a role in mom not maybe being there all the time, maybe being available, maybe taking that time out. Having an affair, it takes you out of the home. Um, it takes you away from the family, okay? It takes your time and your energy and your focus. But Jennifer, she's asking to be released. She has requested that while she's going through the appeal process from her conviction, she was convicted, and this was earlier in 2024, about April of 2024, and she received a sentence of 10 years in prison, as well as her husband. They were tried separately, and they both were convicted, and she wants to be released. She feels that from and through her attorneys and what they have stated, that she should have never been charged, that she did nothing wrong, she committed no crime, she harmed no one, and that really this is almost like an injustice to her, being convicted, being in prison, being prosecuted, being charged as if she had did something when all of the actions, the planning, the premeditation was her son, Ethan Crumbley. But I disagree. I've stated this before and I'll state it again today. The act of purchasing Ethan the gun. You can't do a mass shooting without that weapon, right? So that's a major piece, but also, I would say, leading up before the mass shooting. Did you not see your son was struggling? He had a journal full of rage, of anger, of depictions of killing someone. The planning, everything, the preparation. The school reached out to you the day of the mass shooting. You were at the school and you failed to take your son home. You failed to inform the school that you purchased him a gun. And in that drawing, there was a gun in the drawing. The gun was on the paper. It was depicting someone being shot and also blood spurting from their head as if they were shot. And on that paper, it said, "The thoughts won't stop. Help me." You didn't take him home. You didn't take him to counseling. You didn't get him the help he needed. And allegedly, he asked you, Mom, Jennifer Crumbley, for help, and you laughed in his face. So I do feel that justice was served. And I think 10 years, I think you got the harshest sentence that they were able to give you for the neglect, the lack of awareness, the lack of a response. Um, you will come, you will be released one day. And what will you do? You don't want to be accountable, you don't want to be held responsible for your part. And what happened to these kids in this community at the high school? Okay, so let's get to the article. The article is on www.clickondetroit.com. It's titled "Oxford School Shooter's Mother Asked to be Released from Prison." It's dated December 27, 2024. And the author is Shantae Passmore. After being the first parent convicted in a U.S. mass school shooting, the mother of the Oxford High School shooter is asking a judge for an appeal bond while serving her 10-year sentence. Did the mother have a duty to protect the victims of the school shooting? In February, a jury deliberated and said yes. However, her new lawyer believes she should have never been tried in the first place based on that legal argument for the actions of her son. In a statement to Local 4, her team wrote in part, "Mrs. Crumbley has committed no crime, has never harmed anyone, and is certainly not a flight risk, so there is no reason to deny her right to freedom while an overreaching prosecution attempts to pin the failings of a nation on the backs of parents," said Michael R. Desi, an appellate attorney. So they said she didn't commit any crime and that she didn't harm anyone. And I think when you don't advocate for your child, you don't identify the problems with your child, you don't get them the help they need, you don't seek out resources, you leave them alone, You don't respond to their calls, their text messages when they're looking for you, they're seeking you, they're asking for you for your help, for your support, that they need you. Is that a crime? Is that neglect? Is that abuse? Because many people we know were harmed. And harmed is not just injured, it's emotional too, it's psychological. It's feeling fear every day, everywhere you go. Hearing maybe a loud sound, thinking it's a gunshot, for example. Maybe going into spaces where doors are closed, where you feel confined, that you can't get out. Maybe even your interactions with people would change because you're still processing, you're still going over. Maybe you survived. Maybe you got away. Maybe you hid. Maybe you walked over a victim. Maybe you had to run. You tried to save yourself and you have survivor's guilt. Maybe you didn't know what to do. Maybe you froze. Maybe you felt like you could have done more. You could have interacted. You could have intervened. It's all kind of ways where did you physically harm someone? Did you do the shooting? Did you go to the school and do the shooting? No. But it has an impact. It has a ripple effect. And to say that you're not a flight risk, well, allegedly you were hiding out in a warehouse. You did not turn yourself in at the time that was appointed. So we don't know. We don't know what you're willing to do. You were trying to sell your house, you were collecting money, and all of that pointed to you potentially running. Let's continue with the article. He also blasted Oakland County prosecutors for orchestrating secret agreements with key witnesses, which the office has denied. I don't know what the witnesses would gain from testifying. The people that were at the high school, what would you give them? They're traumatized. Their friends are unalived. The teachers, the administrators that saw these kids grow, develop over the years, what would you offer them? What would they get from testifying? Because to me, the affair slash affairs allegedly it's irrelevant in a way, but in a way it just shows that where your focus was probably somewhere else, it should have been on your child. Just like the finances and the money spent and not having health care for your son and not taking him with you a lot of times, leaving him alone. All of that plays into the idea that you weren't there for your son. And again, that could lead to allegations of abuse, neglect. But let's move on. David Williams, a chief assistant prosecutor, has reportedly said Jennifer Crumbley was tried for her actions and inactions leading to the Oxford High School shooting. So, yes, you know, did you do more? Could you have done more? Did you know? You handled the weapon, you took him to the shooting range. They have video of that. Um, did you secure the weapon? Did you keep it from him? Did you know his mindset? Did you know his thoughts, his plans? Did you know he was dangerous? Was he threatening to you? Did you know he even had these ideas about the shooting? You know, all that plays into why you were held accountable again, not just actions, but also inactions. Returning to work instead of taking your son with you home or getting him immediately into therapy. The legal issues raised by Jennifer Crumbley have already been heard and rejected by the Michigan Court of Appeals, Williams said in a release statement. She should remain in prison serving her sentence while this matter proceeds through the appellate courts. A retired judge and practicing defense attorney said it's rare for a judge to approve an appeal bond, and especially if you appear to be a flight risk. Okay. It's called a shotgun effect. She said, we're going to put everything out there and see what sticks. That's what you do. And you get one opportunity to really, really do it well for it to make a difference. So you want to bring out everything. So when I think about Jennifer Crumbley, I don't have a lot of positive thoughts about her, but the thing that sticks to me is she's a mom. She was in the home. She raised her son, and for some reason, she didn't know his mindset. She didn't know what he was capable of. And I think that may be due to not being there, not spending the time, not investing in him, pouring into him, putting the work in, getting him involved in activities, doing things, being able to pull him out of that dark space, noticing that maybe he needs to be around his friends or to gain friends or to be in groups or to get involved in activities. Maybe you just didn't have the time because he wasn't your focus, Miss Crumbly. And again, the sad part is it's not going to bring any of these victims back. It does not change what happened. And that's my biggest take on this. But I want to share the video that was in the article. So let's watch that. I'm going to share my screen now. So let's make this bigger. We'll play it now.
It is the latest in a string of legal twists involving Jennifer Crumbley after being the first parent convicted in a U.S. mass school shooting. Jennifer Crumbley is now asking to be released from her 10-year sentence.
So earlier this month, she filed to have her involuntary manslaughter conviction thrown out. Shantae Passmore joins us now live this morning with more on what her lawyers are arguing.
Yeah, good morning. So what's the basis for this release, for this request? Well, according to her lawyer, reported by the Free Press, quote, they believe it would be grossly unfair and unjust to have her be in prison while this legal saga lingers.
In the past, the defense team for the mother of the Oxford school shooter has called her trial a sham prosecution. When it comes to her case, Oakland County prosecutors told the jury the bottom line, Crumbley is responsible for her son, and she ignored her son's cries for help, which led to the Oxford school shooting. However, the Free Press article reports her...
Did you just see that little flash? It said, this is one of Ethan's journal entries. So this is on page 5 of his journal. It says, I want to help, but my parents don't listen to me. If you have a chance, please go online, type in Ethan Crumbley's journal, and you can read more of it, his thoughts, his feelings, his plans. I do have it on the Hidden Horror Facebook page, a lot of pages from his journal. You can check it out there as well. But I just wanted you to see that. It says, I want help. I want help. I want help. But my parents, they don't listen to me.
And she ignored her son's cries for help, which led to the Oxford school shooting. However, the Free Press article reports her new lawyer fired back, believing she should have not been prosecuted in the first place, based on the idea she had a duty to protect the victims of the Oxford school shooting. The mother's team is seeking bond, citing prosecutors worked out secret agreements with witnesses. However, Oakland prosecutors think otherwise. In a recent statement to the Free Press, it reads in part, Jennifer Crumbley was tried by a jury of her peers for her own actions and inactions leading to the shooting at Oxford High School, not for the actions of her son.
And prosecutors also told Local 4 earlier this month that no witnesses were given anything for their testimony, and there was no immunity also given. We're live this morning. Shantae Passmore, Local 4.
was born with a condition.
Okay. So I just wanted to share that video because I know that the reality is sitting in for Ethan Crumbley, of course, their son, but also the parents, James and Jennifer Crumbley. And I don't think they anticipated a 10-year sentence when they were convicted. I don't feel, I just don't feel that the conviction is wrong, and I don't feel that the sentencing is harsh, because I keep going back to prevention. And it starts at home. It starts with never giving your child access to a gun, let alone buying him his own gun. Without the gun, maybe he could have used a different weapon, but maybe, just maybe, you wouldn't have the loss of life. And it goes back to the parents not understanding where their child was, not understanding his mental state, not being concerned and doing something about it, especially if he's asking for help, telling you, I have these issues, I have these mental problems. I feel it's justice. Justice for the 4 victims, including the community and the others that were injured and that are still going and struggling day by day. You know, this is a very traumatic event. It's a tragedy, and it has really, really hurt across the United States, the communities, because we're seeing these mass shootings just way too often. And we have to do something about it. So I'm going to continue my series on providing that information that I learned from the Secret Service about mass shootings. I am going to continue that. I think I'm going to be on my video number 3. So I'm going to share that information that they've done research about mass shootings, and continue to share that information with everyone so we can learn something and apply what we learn to try to have some prevention so we can keep our neighborhoods safe in our schools and in any areas, buildings, offices, you know, businesses, everything safe. Okay. So thank you for spending this time with me. I really, really appreciate it. I want to wish you a happy new year 2025. And I want to remind you, please be safe, be smart, be savvy, stay well, all my friends. I will see you soon in a video. Bye, everybody.